Hello, welcome to the student walkthrough video for Paper 1, Question 4. In this video, we are going to be focusing on Question 4, looking at how the question is constructed, how to answer the question, and tips on what makes a good answer. We have other videos available which will guide you through this paper as a whole, and there are also videos that you can work through to look at each question in detail. Question 4 will ask you to explain why there was change or continuity in the history, or why change happened quickly or slowly. It is worth 12 marks. We advise that you spend 20 minutes answering this question, 25 minutes if you have extra time. But do include some time for thinking and planning. We recommend up to 2 minutes. Using knowledge in addition to the stimulus points can help you to achieve a higher mark. You do not need to write an introduction or conclusion. This means you do not need to write more than 3 paragraphs for this answer. Today we are going to look at a question 4 from the Medicine in Britain paper. Explain why there was little change in medicine in England during the medieval period, circa 1250 to 1500. First of all, look for the focus of the question. What do you need to explain? And we've highlighted it here in red for you. We're explaining little change in medicine. Secondly, look for the time period that you need to focus on. And we've underlined this in blue for you. We need to focus on the medieval period, circa 1250 to 1500. And as I said before, take up to 2 minutes to plan or to think about your answer. On high mark questions, such as the explain why question, we provide you with 2 stimulus points, and you are also instructed to use information of your own. This means you should aim to write about 3 aspects of content in your answer to be able to score highly on this question. Examiners are looking for a wide range of knowledge. However, don't worry if you are only able to write about the 2 stimulus points. Examiners will still reward you for doing this. Examiners try to choose stimulus points that will be familiar to students, but don't panic if you don't recognise one of them or can't remember much about the stimulus point. You don't have to use our stimulus points, and you are free to write about what you know in answers. In addition, if you can't think of a range of reasons for why there was little change, in this case, you can make the same point but use different knowledge. Here we see some explain why questions taken from the Crime and Punishment, the Warfare and the Migrants in Britain papers. And you will see here that a similar approach is taken to all questions. So you need to look for what are you explaining, and this has been underlined in red, and what time period are you taking your knowledge from, and this has been underlined in blue. You can also see that for all questions there are 2 stimulus points to help you. So if you're not doing the Medicine in Britain paper, have a look for your question from your paper. So how should you answer this question? If we go back to our medicine question, little change in medicine in the medieval period. You should focus your answer on explaining why there was little change in medicine in the medieval period. For example, you could explain the influence of the church, the continuation of Galen's ideas, or the belief in religious causes of disease and illness. You then need to support your explanation with knowledge from the medieval period. For example, the belief that disease and illness was sent as a punishment from God, or the continued use of the theory of opposites, or that during the medieval period dissection was not allowed, and so new ideas about medicine were unable to be developed. Here is a great example of where a student has taken some time to think about their answer. You can see here there's very little planning, just 2 keywords and a statistic added there. And this plan led to a high scoring answer. So do take some time to plan, but don't think you have to write a lot. What is your examiner going to be looking for when they mark your answer to question 4? There's not one way of approaching a paragraph or an answer, but try to include these 3 things. A clear reason for little change in medicine. Knowledge from the medieval period to support the reason and explanation. You want to include 3 aspects of knowledge across your answer. And there needs to be in every paragraph explanation of how this led to little change in medicine. So what makes a good answer? You may use words from the question to start your answer. Start each paragraph with a direct focus on the question. Use connectives to explain the focus of the question. This led to little change because. As a result, there was little change in medicine because. And finally, look to include knowledge that supports your explanation. Try not to just describe what you can remember. That brings us to the end of this walkthrough video. In this video, we have looked at how you should answer question 4 on paper 1 of your GCSE History exam. We hope you have found it useful. Remember, we have videos for every question on each paper available. You can also find more information for students on our website under the course materials. Just look for the section that's titled Student Support.